एक सेकंड में जरा मैम का लेक्चर स्टार्ट करवा दूं मैं स्टार्ट। आपकी रहने सिर्फ मेरी है। सारे फायदे हो गए, वो पिक्चर्स नहीं आ रही उसकी टेंशन नहीं, ये मेरा स्क्रीन सारी कवर हो जाती है ना, ऐसे कर स्टार्ट कर दूं। Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today the topic of SGD is gram-positive cocci. You have already studied gram-positive cocci. Now this is your rehearsal. This is some sort of your self-assessment. So I have some questions for you. So I need your active participation in chat box. I would like you all to at least answer some, whatever you know about it, answer it. Okay, answer the key points only. So what type of infection is Streptococcus saprophyticus normally associated with? So students, what type of infection is Streptococcus saprophyticus normally associated with? Please answer in the chat box. So you are only marking your attendance. You are not listening to me. Students, please answer question number 1. What type of infection is Streptococcus saprophyticus normally associated with? What infection does it cause? Yes, Rohina has answered it right. Yes, exactly, Vajia. Aniba. Yes, good. Students, it is associated with UTI. It is associated with UTI. Now, next question. What does MRSA stands for? Yes, good. Amna? Laiba? Ahmed? Yes, good. It's methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Yes, good. Students, good. Now, question number 3. What test divides all Staphylococcus into 2 groups? Yes, what test divides all Staphylococcus into 2 groups? Yes, good. So we'll move towards the answers. So the answer is coagulase test. Coagulase test divides staphylococci into two groups, that is coagulase positive and coagulase negative group. So as in this picture, you can see the positive test is indicated by a clot. A clot is formed. When the clot is formed, we say it as a positive test. That is Staphylococcus aureus gives positive clot, and thus we say coagulase positive. And Staphylococcus epidermidis does not give a clot on coagulase test, and thus it is called a negative test. Now, next question. What type of infection is Streptococcus epidermidis normally associated with, and why? Yes, good, Anam. More infections, tell about more infections. What does it associated with? Yes, good, Sheila. Amna, good. So please answer this part of question. Why it is associated? Why does it cause this type of infections? So I think we should move towards the answer. So Staphylococcus epidermidis is normally associated with infections of nosocomial origin. Now, what are the infections of nosocomial origin? These are these infections. So, it is primarily because of practices and procedures, especially implantation. Beta, remember the words that I have written in blue color. These are important things to remember. Streptococcus, the nosocomial infections of nosocomial origin are due to because of practices and procedures, especially implantation of medical devices such as shunts, catheters, cardiac valves, prosthetic joints. Number two, surgery. Instrumentation allows invasion of organism. What is where does this organism normally reside? As the name indicates, epidermidis, it is on skin, epidermis, it resides on skin. So, this organism, whatever procedure that is through the skin can take the organism inside the body. So implantation can lead the organism inside the body. Number two, surgery can lead the organism inside the body, or the organism or the artificial surfaces such as catheters, urinary catheter. So this organism, what does it form? It forms biofilm on the artificial surfaces, and it readily acquires resistance from other bacteria. So it gets resistant with many antibiotics. So question number 5. What is the scientific name for group A Streptococcus? Amna, please write the full name. Yes, good. Yes, good, good. So it's Streptococcus pyogenes. This is group A Streptococcus. So question number 6. What is the scientific name for group B Streptococcus? Beta, answer question number 6. Yes, good. Anusha, good. Yes, you all know it. So this is Streptococcus agalacti. Now, beta, I want to show you this. You already know the subject. I'm very impressed. Now, look at this. Streptococci can be divided into three subgroups: alpha hemolytic, beta hemolytic, and gamma hemolytic. Alpha hemolytic, remember this color. What's this color? It's green. So it gives green or on partial hemolysis. Beta hemolysis is clear and it also has complete hemolysis. Gamma hemolysis, in gamma hemolytic organisms have no hemolysis. They produce no hemolysis. Now, alpha hemolytic organisms, in which there are two organisms, Streptococcus pneumoniae and Streptococcus viridans. Beta hemolytic streptococci are Streptococcus pyogenes and Streptococcus agalacti. As you have already answered, pyogenes is group A organism and agalacti is group B organism. So they both are basically beta hemolytic streptococci. Streptococci that produce beta hemolysis. So the organisms that produce gamma hemolysis are Enterococci, Enterococcus faecalis and Enterococcus faecium. Okay. Now, another question. If you identified an unknown organism as a gram-positive coccus that was catalase negative, so if it is catalase negative and was hippurate positive, what would the likely identity be? What would be the organism that is catalase negative but hippurate positive? Anybody? So I think it's a bit difficult question. So I'll give you a hint. So if an organism is catalase positive, that is if it produces bubbles. When the bubbles are produced, the test is positive. If no bubbles are produced, the test is negative. The positive test is given by staphylococci and negative test, catalase negative test, streptococci gives catalase negative test. So in this question, you can see this gram-positive coccus is catalase negative. So if it is catalase negative, you already know that it is some streptococcus. And now the next question is hippurate positive. If it is hippurate positive, ये देखिएगा ये मुझसे बंद हो गया चैट. Beta, if it is hippurate positive, you can see the positive is blue colored test as in this picture. A is blue colored. Streptococcus agalacti is the only streptococcus that gives hippurate positive. Remember, it is the only streptococcus that gives hippurate positive result. So the organism becomes is Streptococcus agalacti. Now, next question. What is group B Streptococcus most likely to be found as normal flora? Students, what is group B Streptococcus most likely to be found as normal flora? Yes, what is the name of the organism? Anusha? Yes, Amna has given the right answer. The organism group B Streptococci as a normal flora is basically in genital tract, in GIT and upper respiratory tract. So these are the three uh, common sites as normal flora. So number one is genital tract, as you all have answered. Genital tract is number one, then GIT and then upper respiratory tract. So question number 9. How could you easily differentiate between Streptococcus pneumoniae and a member of the viridans streptococci? How will you differentiate them? Just think it out. Yes, good. So we will see the answer. Viridans streptococci is resistant to octogen. Most of the students have given very right answer. So where should I move it? So beta viridans streptococci is resistant to octogen and Streptococcus pneumoniae is sensitive to octogen. As you can see in this plate in which octogen is resistant to Streptococcus viridans. You can see the organism has grown even beneath the disc, the antibiotic disc. So in case of Streptococcus pneumoniae, you can see this area, this clear area in which there is no microorganism growth, which means that Streptococcus pneumoniae is sensitive to octogen. That is, this antibiotic can kill this organism. So this is the differentiating point. You can differentiate by octogen sensitivity or the susceptibility test to differentiate between viridans and the Streptococcus pneumoniae. Now, what is the principal difference in the colony morphologies between group A and group B Streptococcus? Students, what is the principal difference in the colony morphologies between group A and group B Streptococcus? Anyone else? Amna has answered, but anyone else who wants to answer? So we'll go towards the answer. So group A Streptococci, beta, they have small colonies with large zone of strong beta hemolysis. We have already seen beta hemolysis. What is the characteristic of beta hemolysis? Beta hemolytic organisms cause clearing, as we have already seen. In group B Streptococci, they have large colonies with narrow zone of beta or gamma hemolysis. Beta is clearing, or gamma. What happens in gamma hemolysis? There is no hemolysis at all. So group A has small colonies and large zone of beta hemolysis, and group B has large colonies and a narrow zone of, or a small zone of beta or gamma hemolysis. So we are running short of time. We will move quickly. So this is, you can see this is beta hemolysis in which there is clearing around the colonies. And this is gamma hemolysis in which there is no hemolysis at all. And this is alpha hemolysis which gives greenish color and it is partial hemolysis. So what systemic infection are the viridin streptococci usually associated with? Beta, answer it quickly. I am running short of time. So, yes, it is endocarditis. The systemic infection that viridin streptococci is associated with is endocarditis. It is especially subacute bacterial endocarditis, septicemia, and dental caries. So, next question. What are the main identifying features of Streptococcus pneumoniae? Beta, what are the main identifying features of Streptococcus pneumoniae? I'll move forward. They are gram-positive diplococci. They have mucoid colony, and they may be mucoid or rough colony, and alpha hemolysis, narrow zone of alpha hemolysis. As you can see, they are diplococci, and you can also see there is alpha hemolysis, greenish in color, alpha hemolysis, and there is narrow zone of alpha hemolysis in each around each colony. So differentiate between post-streptococcal rheumatic fever and